I just spent about an hour in the basement cutting that 1.5 foot long log, which was the trunk of our Christmas tree, which was hard to cut down in the first place outside and hard to cut the stump off with the reciprocating saw with the best Milwaukee blade on it. And in the cellar, I was able to use the chop saw and just about cut 7 inch thick slices, all the while holding it up kind of level because the center of it had to be the thing that was level and the sides are slightly off. So it took some shims, but the chop saw almost got it all, but not quite. There was about an inch left to go, and I tried flipping it and I couldn't get it to line up well enough that it wouldn't mismatch the planes of the cuts. And yes, I'm going to have to sand it, but I didn't want a major glacial edge there. So anyway, I just cut the 8 cuts, and then I took it over and I used the handsaw. Well, you might have thought that the handsaw, 90% of the way through would kind of have an easy day of it. Well, I don't go to the gym, but I just want to say, look, don't get too excited now. But boom, boom, forget it, man. I saw them all, and the thing is, like, as I saw it, like every one of them, like, was tightening up. It was like I tried like keeping the saw a little wiggly, so I sort of took a little off each side as I got the saw in. Tried pulling and pushing to the other direction. I tried like eventually I was using a little shim that I put in the top to start spreading it, but at first when you would spread it, it literally tightened the bottom at first. You couldn't use the shim until you'd gotten almost to the end. Then the shim, and finally was able to pull each one off. So now I've got 7 inch thick discs. They're about 7, 8 inches around diameter. And they do have the need for a little sanding and take a few minutes of sanding, and I gotta figure out which sander to use because I'm not doing that by hand. Yeah, but yeah, I've got these seven for Vicky. Vicky wanted these made for some purpose, and so I think what we're gonna do is like let them cure now for like 8 months because the sap's gonna come out. I'll figure out what to do about that. Maybe gonna have to sand them off again later. In fact, maybe I should just wait and sand them then because I'm sure the sap is gonna require that being sanded off again later. Whether they're gonna be sealed up, say with urethane or not. Yeah, I think I'll wait. So I think I'm done. Yeah, on that note, I'm good done until like next summer. And then we'll sand them. And by then I'll figure out like I've got a little belt sander. That's probably the way to go. But I was trying to like I've got these tie down straps with these clamps, and I've got like 8 of them in the basement. And I just ruined one because I have a difficult time learning how to make them work right. Inevitably, something like folds and gets jammed, or the darn thing, the one that worked right, had too much rolled up on its little roll already. So I got like 2 clicks, and then it was jammed just from the consequences of having too much strap wrapped around it. Couldn't get it to release either. None of them will release. I don't know. When I reach those points, I realize it's probably me, and I take a different tack. That was fun. I've got new lights going on in here. I'm not using the main lights. I'm using like a second string lights, which are actually a comfortable level of lighting for me, and it's certainly more comfortable to sit here and do this with this level of lighting. We'll see. I had to crank up the ASA, open the aperture, but those other lights are heaters. I mean, I mentioned that already. It was starting to get hot in here after about 20 minutes, which ironically I wanted to complain about, even though it's overall kind of freezing out and around. But that's a separate issue. I think I need to like clean up. You know what? Let me try cleaning up and present myself again in the same light. And yet, in a way, in a different light, perhaps. Hmm. Hmm. The clothes make the man. Who the hell said that? Who's Jordan Peterson's all about clothes, but you know, I'm not exactly all about Jordan Peterson right now, so I'm not really on that wavelength, and I don't want to be. So peace, peace out. Peace be with you. Copyright issues. Nicotine, bad. Kids, don't start. You know, I need to get used to the fact that you're over there and there. I need something there to attract my attention. That's what. Because I keep looking like over there. I mean, when I'm looking there, I'm actually looking at the monitor. And I suppose that's an aesthetic choice. I could be always looking at the monitor. On the other hand, it wouldn't be too hard for me to get used to looking at the camera. I could even put something like a funny mask over there, right? A round ball or a square ball or my favorite, the triangular ball. The things I say. I've got the new lighting going. The new lighting is so much more comfortable up here. I spent 5 years in a school where I had to wear a coat and tie every day. Didn't really mind it. Problem is, like, at that age, like the 8th to 12th grade, boys, wearing a tie is just an invitation for somebody to choke you or take you on it like a leash. I mean, I do think that's the whole idea of a tie. I mean, it's very stylish. It kind of looks good. I don't know why that is, but I agree. Is that a is that pure enculturation on my part? Could be, but somehow I think it looks good. Maybe it's like an arrow pointing at my face, at a person's face. But I always regard it as kind of like a leash. You put this on to signal your submission to the man, the system. I think it's pretty telling. You look around the world at like other world leaders. Look at the costume they're wearing. This is my costume right now, right? I always put on a costume when I go out. I mean, when I'm home, it's not maybe not a costume so much. It has a lot more to do with utility, comfort. But when I go out, it's obviously a costume, and I've worn a variety of costumes, and I'm pretty comfortable in. You know what's great about these? They have a pocket, like right here. It's perfect. I mean, I miss that pocket. Any other time, I think I may take to wearing this jacket again, or I'll get me one down at the Goodwill. But you know, like how I said that, I'll get me one. I just rolled off my tongue. I mean, I'm pretty proud of the way I've acculturated into some here, and yeah, West by God, Virginia. That's all I'm gonna say. But don't tell anyone. We want people to think it's like not that good here, right? It's like Seattle. They keep telling people it rains. I've been to Seattle maybe 7 times. It never rained when I was there. I talked to people out there about it, and they kind of kept up the ruse of, oh yeah, yeah, wait for the winter, whatever. When you got a good thing, you don't necessarily want to like spoil it by telling everybody, and then everybody shows up. Okay, I don't know. We're in the suit. It makes me almost want to like talk about politics, and I'm not going partisan. I don't think I'll ever do partisan. There. Now I've drawn a line in the sand for myself. But short of that, I mean, tonight my wife and daughter were like dipping the delicious soup my wife had made on the stove in a big 5 gallon, 2 gallon pot, and they were dipping it out with a large spoon, but not a ladle. And I just wanted to taste, but I didn't quite want to dip my own spoon in there in case I wanted a second taste. Then I didn't want to double dip in front of them and all. So I myself went to the drawer, and there was the ladle. So I thought, fine, I will grab the ladle and I will ladle myself like 3 spoonfuls worth, and then I'll step back and just eat out of the ladle with the spoon. And I got over there, and my daughter, who was about to spoon herself some soup, saw the ladle and said, "Oh wow, I was just thinking about the ladle." And I was like, "Yeah, well, okay, I was going to use it." And my wife was like, "Well, it would be better for," and I was like, "Just, okay, fine." And I gave my daughter the ladle, and I took the spoon. It all worked, but I pointed out to them, there's your communism. You know what? You know, the working class, they're muddling along, they're working, they're not necessarily looking for ways to improve things. And then one guy sort of like gets an urge. He's like, you know what? I could save, there's a better way. And he does the thing, and immediately they take it from him and give it to everyone else. I mean, you better love your brothers and sisters. I mean, in a family, in a home, maybe up to 30, a clan, I've heard. But in a family, we're all good with this. We're all good. It's cool. On a world scale, it bears discussion. Okay, enough of that. I'm like out of here. I'm out of here. I've done this thing. I've made a point. Peace out. Peace be with you.